From your 24-hour news source, this is a Channel 4 News Update.
Good evening, I'm Jose Diaz-Balart. Officials in Miami say they have seized 6,000 pounds of cocaine in a Northwest Dade warehouse, part of an ongoing investigation which has netted more than 23,000 pounds. The director of Broward County Sexual Assault Treatment Center has allegedly been fired, but no one in the center is saying why. And after 70 years of alienation between the church and the state, Mexican legislators voted today to recognize the Catholic Church. More news in just an hour.
The Palm Beach accuser reveals her face to the world.
When I was struggling, he told me to stop it, bitch.
Exclusive, out of the shadows.
Do your patients here know you're a convicted murderer?
Yes.
This convicted killer still free as a bird, but the crusader who nailed him could be the one going to jail.
Absolutely, totally ludicrous.
Witless for the prosecution.
Our feelings run very deep in this country. The truth is still an important thing to us.
Hollywood's biggest honk turns nerd to recreate a death in Dallas.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maureen O'Boyle. Welcome to A Current Affair for this Wednesday, December 18th. The accuser in the Palm Beach rape case kept her identity hidden for 8 long months, and we at A Current Affair respected her request to remain anonymous. Now, however, she's decided to reveal her face to the world. And as Steve Dunleavy tells us, she's not the only one coming out of the shadows.
She was the most hidden woman in America.
Will never made any verbal threats to you, did he, in order to get your compliance?
You mean when he raped me?
Did he make any verbal threats to you?
When I was struggling, he told me to stop it, bitch.
Masked by television bubbles, her name withheld from the world, Patty Bowman O'Neill has emerged at last from the shadows.
And I was yelling, no, and stop. And I tried to arch my back to get him off of me, and he slammed me back into the ground, and I got, and then he pushed my dress up, and he raped me.
Tomorrow night, she will come forward and face a network television audience of millions, finally unmasked.
Was your strength any match for the defendant?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
But other people are also emerging from the shadows.
I was at a bar in Winter Park by the name of Bailey's Bar on a Thursday night, ladies' night, and at about 11 o'clock, a well-dressed brunette female approached my table and asked if she could join me. And I said, yeah, she can join me.
His name is Stephen Laufer, a former convict who is the second man to claim that Patty Bowman O'Neill had an axe to grind against the Kennedy family.
She told me that she would like to go to bed with Ted Kennedy.
He claims he had a bizarre one-night stand in 1986 with Patty Bowman O'Neill.
Out of the blue, yes, she said to me, came to my table and said, would I want company? Do you need a ride home? I said, I have my own car, Patty. You can follow me home. She did. We ended up at my house about midnight.
And then he relates a bizarre moment in the bedroom with the girl he says he met 2 hours before.
We got physical, nice way, and we exchanged fantasies after we had explored each other. And my fantasy, I told her, was to have a menage a trois with 2 girls. She told me her fantasy was to Ted Kennedy.
Laufer's portrait of the woman who accused William Kennedy Smith of rape is totally at odds with the recollection of one-time friend Hezekiah Carroll.
She wasn't a person that screamed rape at any time.
Carroll remembers Patty as a sweet, fun-loving girl, a party girl, but a girl who held no malice toward anyone.
I don't remember the alleged victim ever talking viciously and venomously about anybody.
When I looked in her eyes, saw that she was sincere, and by the sound of her tone of her voice, I realized she was sincere. It was a strange feeling that occurred over me, that maybe she was going to possibly do something to me. You know, it sounded like I was with a malicious person here. And it was a very uneasy feeling for me.
Why are you coming forward now?
When I came to New York and I was told who the accuser was, that it was Patty O'Neill, I couldn't believe it. Because since April, since it's been going on, I was living in Florida where they did not write down the name of the accuser. When I found out who it was, I said, I got to help this William Kennedy Smith, because this girl told me she was going to do this to Ted Kennedy 5 years ago and hurt the Kennedy family name. But I mean, she was a very well distinguished looking girl, very well distinguished, very well dressed, manicured, etiquette and talking. Her speech was etiquette. As she drank, as the night went on, though, her speech went down. And I realized that I was with a not at all 100% person there. It was a very aggressive, very emotionally needing of a male figure with her.
Patty Bowman O'Neill wasn't available for comment when we tried to reach her today. Now, still ahead on a current affair, outrage over a bizarre court case.
I'm outraged today.
This man could go to jail, all because he helped solve a murder mystery. That's next. And later. A controversial movie opens, and so do some old wounds.
The more people who go see this movie, the more they will realize how deeply we have been deceived in this society.
Circuit City's holiday blowout is Friday. It'll be big. Our stores will be jammed with great gifts. The savings will be huge. Like this VCR with remote, just $149.97. This JVC CD player with remote, only $139.97. And this unit and cordless phone, a low $44.97. Circuit City's holiday blowout, Friday, 9 to 10.
Welcome to Circuit City, where service is state of the art.
It's dynamite.
Drive America's best-selling light truck. Lease the Ford Ranger for only $146 a month at your South Florida Ford dealer. A 92 Ranger XLT with air, power steering, power windows, AM/FM cassette, chrome rear bumper, and more. Loaded with value for only $146 a month. Backed by a 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. And ask about low monthly payments on a full line of Ford trucks. Hurry to your South Florida Ford dealer today.
Back. Macy's exclusive men's sportswear is as rugged as the individuals in them. Built to take life's little shots in stride. There's Macy's own club room, making your lives a little more comfortable. International concepts, clothes that let you do everything in style. And Thornton Bay, clothes that work and play as hard as you do. That's the magic of Macy's.
A jury brings in a guilty verdict, and a citizen is hailed for his role in cracking the case. But the prosecutor's work isn't done. They decide to go after the man who helped them win. David Lee Miller reports on the court case that some say is witless for the prosecution.
Arlington, Virginia dentist Dr. Glenn Wolsifer goes to work each morning as if nothing ever happened. But 13 months ago, in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, he was convicted of strangling his wife, Betty, and is now free, pending the outcome of his appeal. How much longer do you expect to remain free? After all, you have been convicted of murdering your wife.
I think that's going to turn around.
You think so? Why do you say that?
It should, because I'm innocent.
But while Dr. Wolsifer waits for Judgment Day, Steve Corbett, a columnist with the Wilkes-Barre Times Leader and the man most responsible for keeping the Wolsifer case in the public eye, might end up in jail before the good doctor. The crime, allegedly conspiring to publish a secretly recorded interview with the now convicted killer.
Steve Corbett will not be in jail until he goes through the same legal process of a preliminary hearing, a trial before the courts by a jury of his peers, and if convicted, a complete right of appeal, the same as Dr. Wolsifer.
I'm outraged today to think that while Wolsifer walks the streets a free man, the local law enforcement office is allied against the newspaper that in large measure was responsible for seeing to it that Wolsifer was brought to justice. Absolutely, totally ludicrous.
In Wilkes-Barre, it seems nothing is too ludicrous. After all, it was 5 years ago when Dr. Wolsifer first claimed a masked intruder broke into his home during a bungled robbery attempt and strangled his wife. Despite inconsistencies with the story, authorities refused to prosecute, claiming a lack of evidence. But Steve Corbett went on a one-man crusade to bring Betty's killer to justice.
What I see when I look at Glenn Walsifer, though, is a cold, calculating, vicious. I don't know what to think when I see him. He's a dangerous guy.
People had sympathy toward him because he lost his wife, and it was hard, trying to make him a suspect in his wife's murder when he was such a high-profile figure in the community.
In column after column, Corbett wrote about Betty's murder and exposed Glenn's affairs with two women, his dental hygienist, Deborah Shipp, with whom he even admitted making love the day before his wife died, and his recent live-in girlfriend, Carol Kopicki. Where was Glenn on Friday nights?
Out. He went out on Friday nights. I mean, everybody was pretty aware that Betty didn't like to be alone on Friday nights. Many of her friends, I knew it.
Did she ever put her foot down?
I think maybe that night she did.
The night she was murdered?
Maybe.
For columnist Steve Corbett, there was no maybe. The answer was clear. After one of those lonely nights, Betty Walsifer confronted her husband, and the argument turned violent.
He's a very cold-blooded person. He lacks emotion. I have told him that I believe he murdered his wife. I don't get a response from him. I asked him, have you ever, innocent man that you say you are, tried to figure out who could have done such a terrible thing? And he said yes. And he blamed it on druggies that he might have treated from a drug rehabilitation facility close to one of his dental offices.
It was a previously unheard story, and immediately it drew the attention of local reporters.
What about the Corbett comment you made about the drug-crazed people coming into your house? Any comment about that?
I think he's drug-crazed, but that's my opinion.
Corbett made it up?
Oh, no. He didn't make it up. That's how I feel about him.
Finally, 3 years after Betty's death, and following the election of a new district attorney, police arrested Dr. Walsifer and charged him with murder.
Before this case happened, he was my family's dentist. I never personally went to him, but my family did. I had no personal feelings of any animosity toward him, but we had a job to do. We believed he committed that crime.
How important is justice to you?
It's very important. I think it would resolve some things. And by the same token, it'll never bring her back.
Can you get a fair trial?
I don't know. I don't know about trials.
Have you been tried already?
In the press.
What about the last 3 years? How's it been for you?
Shaky.
It was the trial of the year, and Steve Corbett, the star witness for the prosecution.
I believe most people thought that Glenn was guilty. I believe now that more people think Glenn is guilty.
When the jury returned its verdict, Dr. Walsifer was convicted of third-degree murder. But now, 13 months later, he is still free on $200,000 bond, appealing his conviction.
There's no second chance for my sister. She doesn't have the opportunity of an appeal. She can't talk, walk, breathe, which he takes for granted every single day of his life. And I think that's pretty sad.
Do your patients here know you're a convicted murderer?
Yes.
Has that affected your practice?
With the people that I know, not at all.
How do they handle it? They believe you're innocent?
They must.
But while Wilkes-Barre's most infamous dentist is building a new practice in Arlington, Virginia, last Thursday, Steve Corbett and the executive staff of the Wilkes-Barre Times-Leader turned themselves into authorities for allegedly violating the state's wiretap laws by publishing and conspiring to publish a 1989 secretly recorded interview with the doctor in which he blamed his wife's murder on hippie intruders.
Clearly, whether or not there are injustices in the system of Dr. Walsifer still walking the street, this case has no correlation to that case. This is separate and apart.
We stand behind Steve Corbett, you bet. He has unfortunately become a lightning rod for the local prosecutor, I think, and others who dislike his tactics.
When, if ever, Dr. Walsifer will go to prison, it's impossible to say, adding to the anger and the frustration of Betty's family.
To know that somebody strangled her to death, that I'll be at ease until the day I die.
We can never be at ease with it. We can never forget the death of our daughter.
I feel as bad for them as I feel for anybody that was close to Betty, especially them, because they were her parents and her family. But I feel also that Betty was close to me and my family and my daughter, and nobody ever said, gee, we're sorry about Betty, to me or to my family.
I don't think anybody should feel sorry for him. He not once was interested enough to find out if he indeed still feels he didn't do this, to help find who did. Not once.
As the taskers wait for justice, Steve Corbett waits for a December 23rd preliminary hearing, facing 7 years behind bars.
It would be the irony of ironies if someone from this newspaper were put behind bars before Glenn Wolsifer was.
Adding to the irony is that Dr. Wolsifer's appeal is based in part on Steve Corbett's own testimony and failure to mention his secret recording with the now convicted killer.
Right now I'm portrayed as a real bad guy, and I'm really not a bad person. Having an affair is not uncommon. It's not right, but it's certainly not uncommon. And in my eyes, that's the only thing that I'm really guilty of. And if Betty was here, I would say I'm sorry to that. And I think she's the only one that I would have to apologize to for that. I wouldn't have to answer to everyone in the world.
It won't be over, ever. But the fact that he'll pay some type of price for something he did is, I guess, what you call justice.
Wolsifer's appeal will be heard January 17th. Now, when we come back, is America ready for this movie?
It's probably one of the most embarrassing chapters in modern history.
Friday on A Current Affair. He spilled so many celebrity stockings, they call him Santa to the stars.
This is fashion. This is style. This is fashion, European style. Rory, a taste of Europe by the Palmetto. Rory.
Save 60% during Luria's manufacturer's closeout sale. Luria's has acquired a major jewelry manufacturer's inventory. $27 million in fine jewelry and brand name watches. Movado, Ebel, Concord, Hoyer, all 60% off from Luria. Gold jewelry, diamond jewelry, gemstone watches. $27 million in fine jewelry and watches. All 60% off. Now through Christmas. $27 million in fine jewelry and watches.
When you think Glorious, you've thought of everything.
Officials are still investigating the source of a mysterious geometric pattern discovered early this morning in a Marion County hayfield. Perplexed observers say it looked curiously like a series of 6, 1, and 2-digit numbers.
In the top of the barn, you could see there were numbers. Lots of them.
Authorities have not yet ruled out the possibility of extraterrestrial activity. Sandy?
Unbelievable. Next up, an interview with the local farmer who was Florida's newest lotto winner. Where did he get those numbers?
Keep an eye out for your lucky lotto numbers.
From the shadow of a doubt
Who would leave a path as big as Lee Harvey Oswald?
to the darkest suspicions,
Nobody's going to tell me that kid did the shooting job he did from that damn bookstore.
one man would make a dangerous journey
Don't you think the Kennedy assassination's a little bit out of your domain?
looking for the truth.
Oswald's been shot.
Kevin Costner in an Oliver Stone film.
Nothing is going to keep me from my investigation of John Kennedy's murder.
JFK, rated R, starts Friday, December 20th at a theater near you.
They were the shots heard around the world, and now, 3 decades after John Kennedy's murder, a new movie stirs memories of our national nightmare. Gene Wolfe saw the movie maker's version of that death in Dallas.
Oswald's been shot.
Almost 30 years after John Kennedy was assassinated, the movie JFK has revived an American obsession.
We're talking about a crime, Bill, pure and simple. Y'all got to start thinking on a different level, like the CIA does. Now, we're through the looking glass here, people.
Academy Award-winning director Oliver Stone has brought new life to the question that won't go away. Who killed JFK?
This was a military-style ambush from start to finish. This was a coup d'etat with Lyndon Johnson waiting in the wings.
Those fateful shots that were fired in Dallas still echoed at the Hollywood premiere. This movie has been so criticized even before it's come out. Why is this wound still so open in people's minds?
Because it's controversial, it's a mystery, and it's probably one of the most embarrassing chapters in modern history.
I wonder why they're so scared of this movie. Well, it's only a movie. You're going to go in there, you see it, you can walk out and you can say it's all BS, or you're just going to say, I believe it, or fall in between, or else at least go out and do some more study.
You're the first person I ever met who considered an act of patriotism to murder his own president.
Now, just a minute, sir. You are way out of line.
Why was Kevin Costner the actor that would bring the qualities you needed to this role, and what did he bring in the end?
He brought integrity and honesty and warmth. He also brought understatement.
I think our feelings run very deep in this country. The truth is still an important thing to us. I never realized Kennedy was so dangerous to the establishment. Is that why?
Well, that's a real question, isn't it? Why? Why was Kennedy killed? Who benefited? Who has the power to cover it up? Who?
The more people who go see this movie, the more they will realize how deeply we have been deceived in this society.
I don't think anybody is satisfied, personally. 3/4 of the country does not believe the Warren Commission report, and they shouldn't, because it's full of lies. And they're very unhappy and unsettled about it, but nothing has ever been proven.
Did you shoot the president? I didn't shoot anybody, no, sir. They have taken me in because of the fact I have lived in the Soviet Union. I'm just a patsy.
It's like a global thing, you know, the day that guy got killed. And it's and being Americans, of course, you hold the subject very close to your heart. I mean, it just changed the whole course of your country.
Do you think you're part of something that gives the answer, or do you think this movie still asks the questions?
I don't know. I just want this movie to rattle some cages.
We should be investigating our mafia leads here in New Orleans. Now, I can buy that a hell of a lot easier than I can the government. Ruby is all mob, knows Oswald, sets him up. Hoffa, Trafficante, Marcellus, they hire some guns to do Kennedy.
Oliver has been so criticized. It's been said everything from the fact that he's exploiting the death of John F. Kennedy to distorting history.
In my opinion, I think Oliver's a great American. He's a great patriot, and he's got the nerve and the guts and the belief that he can make this movie in this country. This is a tough movie. It asks tough questions of our government, and we're able to stand here today and go in there and see this movie. I don't know about you, but that makes me proud.
Costner's movie opens on Friday. We'll be right back with never-before-seen footage of the world's biggest rock star.
In the next 30 seconds, you will lose 500,000 skin cells.
Skin Science Update from Vaseline Intensive Care.
I'm Joan London. A hostile environment can make skin dry, flaky, but Vaseline Intensive Care research developed a lotion with 3 proven ingredients that helps rebuild the skin's outer layers, helps heal even chronic dryness. There's no better lotion to protect the 28 billion skin cells you have left.
Vaseline Intensive Care Lotion. From intensive research comes intensive care.
There you are, an upper respiratory wreck. And there they are, NyQuil and a look-alike.
It may not be NyQuil, but it's cheaper. The thing is with NyQuil, you know you won't be able to try coughing and sneezing, and you gotta rest. You're being paranoid. This is probably made by Vicks. Here it is in teeny print. It's not made by Vicks. This may be cheaper, but I'm not taking any chances.
NyQuil, the only nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine made by Vicks. Also available in new liquid caps.
This Christmas, kick off the holidays with the only full-blown action movie of the season. Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans. The Last Boy Scout, rated R, now playing at a theater near you.
'Tis the season, and what better way to spend it than with your family and friends at Magical Village Holiday Theme Park. With 1 million Christmas lights, 200 animated figures, petting zoo, food court, gift and craft items, free parking, and 20 amusement park rides for kids of all ages. November 27th through January 5th. Call 651-8811 and date for more information.
Nick Nolte reveals how his real-life pain prepared him for the role as a man forced to relive his abusive childhood on Entertainment Tonight.
Weeknights at 7:30 on Channel 4.
Michael Jackson's latest performance was a blockbuster, but he left out the best stuff.
Well, Mike, look through the camera, would you? I want to show you this.
The world tuned in for Michael Jackson's long-awaited new music video.
I'm not going to spend my life being a color.
Now, A Current Affair shows you what the world never saw.
Ready, and...
An exclusive look at the making of his most explosive production ever, Michael Jackson's smash hit.
That amazing footage Thursday on A Current Affair. Now, before we go tonight, you've still got time to give a child the best Christmas gift of all, the gift of happiness. You can send a toy or a donation for one to be bought to the Marine Corps Reserve Toys for Tots, A Current Affair, P.O. Box 500, Buffalo, New York, 14216. And that's all for tonight. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good night.